welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and we got a jam-packed show on tap for you today. Coming up, Houston Texans OTA practice began today. It was open to the media, and here are my main observations coming up of what we saw from Texans practice OTAs. The first OTAs, because obviously we're going to know everything about the team based on this first practice by the Houston Texans. Obviously, a little bit of facetious joking there for you. But before we get into all the news and notes from today, maybe some lineup changes, some roster shakeup for the Texans, I want to stick it to my bosses because they said, you know what? This month has been the lowest likes month out of any month so far in 2025 for Texans Today. And our likes record on a video is 546. So help me stick it to them. Help me show them that Texans fans are still engaged even in the month of May. Go down and hit that like button. Let's beat 546 from our previous video this month. I want to show them, hey, Texans fans, we're still here. We're still loud. We're still proud. We're ready for the season. Help me prove that by hitting that like button. We also have some news updates. This kind of came in late last night, early this morning as well. DeMeco Ryans, he loves himself a good joint practice. 2 joint practices for the Houston Texans. Please don't clip that part. Hey, if I'm looking at you. Don't clip that part where I said DeMeco Ryans loves joints. Because I'm talking about the practices, the joint practices. We got 2 of them, the Panthers and the Lions. Dave Canales, Dan Campbell agreed to it, so the Texans, they're going to be a little off-season competition with some other teams. DeMeco Ryans talked about how he loves, having that competition where, obviously the quarterbacks are safe in these practices. They're wearing the red jerseys where you're not allowed to touch those guys. But to kind of see some of the other position groups battle it out a little bit to see where you stack up. Also, some news to start today. Aaron Wilson, one of my guys down there at practice. Several veterans not at Texans voluntary OTAs, including Joe Mixon, who's been in a walking boot. We talked about his injury and, him rehabbing some of those nagging injuries that he had from the season, mainly his ankle that was really bothering him towards the end of last season. So no surprise that he wasn't there. Also, other guys who were not at practice, Dalton Schultz, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Christian Harris, Jimmy Ward, Brevin Jordan, Danielle Hunter, Dameon Pierce, and Justin Watson, which I was wondering, Dameon Pierce, why is he absent, right? I thought he was going to be maybe the RB1 for the Texans to start out OTAs, but also some more reporting from DJ Bean Aim from ESPN. He said also Sheldon Rankins, Henry Toto, Braxton Berrios also missing practice, but Toto, Berrios, Dalton Schultz, Dameon Pierce, all those guys were rehabbing in the training room. So obviously it's OTAs, so it's just some light practice. It's not anything to worry about. And I also saw this. People were worrying about freaking out because C.J. Stroud was there but not throwing at practice, dealing with maybe a little bit of shoulder soreness. And when asked about it, DeMeco Ryans, he was just basically like, hey, we're managing different guys playing on different days, and different guys have different routines. So no biggie. C.J. Stroud did not participate in the 7-on-7s, any of the throwing drills. It was Davis Mills taking the QB1 reps for the Houston Texans. So not anything major there, I would say, around him not throwing the football. I saw some people freaking out. C.J. Stroud's hurt. Like I said, it's May. Once it gets to August and September, that's when I'm going to worry about these guys not being on the practice field. For now, I'm all good. This is the first time we've really even heard about C.J. Stroud in the media, which I think is a good thing because if you watched my interview with Cecil Shorts, he said he's been in the lab working this offseason, putting in that work so far, which I'm really excited to see how he ends up playing this year. Next up, let's talk offensive line. And the reason why I titled the video the way I did today with major roster shakeup, major changes to the offense, because this might mean nothing. This might mean something. But this was the very first unit the Texans put out there for OTA practices, which might be telling, maybe it's not. But Cam Robinson, left tackle, Laken Tomlinson manning the left guard, Jake Andrews as the center, Titus Howard, right guard, and Blake Fisher, right tackle. This very well may be the starting offensive line that we see week 1 for this Houston Texans team, with Jake Andrews as the starting center. And I told y'all guys, This team values relationships. Jake Andrews went to college, and his college coach was none other than Cole Popovich, who is the current Texans offensive line coach and run game coordinator. I told y'all guys, be on the lookout for Jake Andrews as a sneaky starting option. And what do you know? The very first unit the Texans put out there, which, like I said, it's OTA, so not a big deal, but kind of a big deal that he's the very first center that they're throwing out there, kind of showing that they really like him as an option, at least, to start at the center spot, which I'll tell you the second unit that the Texans put out there in just a moment. But I want to hear from you folks at home. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. One word to describe how you feel about the Texans O-line right now. Go in the comment section. Let me know if you hit with the YouTube ad break. All good. Scroll on down and let me know. What is your one word to describe how you feel about the Texans offensive line? My one word is going to be perturbed. Perturbed is my one word for this Texans offensive line right now. And I'll give you a second to Google it. Just means basically anxious, a little unsettled with how I feel about this Texans offensive line at the moment. Because, I mean, it's a bunch of question marks, right? There's nobody who I'm like, oh, yeah, that dude is solid at that spot. I think almost every single position besides left tackle at this point is up for grabs. And if Ursery balls out, maybe even that position is up for grabs right now. Where, as we get into the second unit the Texans put out during OTAs, they had Ursery at left tackle, Juice Scruggs at left guard, Jarrett Patterson at center, Jalen Thomas at right guard, and Austin Deculus at right tackle, which no really reporting on, but I believe that Trent Brown is still out from his injury that he sustained last season, so didn't see him lining up for the Texans on the O-line for any of the OTA units during this practice. But Ariante Ursery, left tackle of the future? I mean, D'Amico Ryan said we drafted him because we liked him at left tackle, and we view him as a tackle. So whether that be on the left side or the right side, I think it's fair to say Ursery will be playing a tackle spot for the Texans this year. And speaking of guys playing at certain positions, I did notice they're not really putting Juice Scruggs at center anymore. He was drafted to be a center. He was thought of it as, from our draft experts here at Chat Sports, as a center-only prospect. But that looks like they're trying to keep him at guard, which I don't think is a great move. I don't think that's his best spot on the field. And I know I just said, the first unit, the second unit, they mix and matched all throughout practice. This from Jonathan Alexander, who had some great coverage this morning from practice as well. Here's an interesting O-line combination they threw out there as well. Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Jarrett Patterson, Titus Howard, and Ursery at right tackle. So this was another kind of option that they threw in there. Another tweet coming in from DJ from ESPN. He also had some good coverage this morning if you want to check out his X/Twitter. Patterson rotated in with the ones. Ursery rotated in with the ones as well for center and right tackle, respectively. Like I said, Ursery going to be a tackle, whether it's on the left or right side this year. The one thing that I did notice, and I know I said left tackle is the only spot that might not be up for grabs, but maybe also left guard. It looks like Laken Tomlinson is kind of taking that position by the horns. And if I had to put my money on it at any position along this Texans offensive line, Laken Tomlinson might have the best odds to be a starter at his spot than any other person along the offensive line. Because, like I said, Laken Tomlinson in there at the left guard spot. Cam Robinson obviously manning that left tackle spot as well. But Blake Fisher, watch out. Right? Juice Scruggs, watch out. Y'all might be riding the pine this year if some of these other guys step up, which I'm super pumped for Texans football. And this just made me even more excited for seeing these guys in pads, right? Because this is just, they're running routes on air. They're, doing, maybe some 7-on-7 drills, some light workouts and stuff, which get little goosebumps here and there. But really, I'm really pumped to see this Texans squad out there. And coming up in just a moment, I have some more OTA observations, just some, little things that I noticed around practice and some of the videos that I saw. I'm really kind of excited to see how this Texans offense looks going into this year, and I'm really excited to see how we go about business in 2025. Before we get into the latest news and notes around Texans OTAs, my other observations, hey, Father's Day is right around the corner. It's creeping up. And you don't want to be one of those guys who's last second going to CVS and getting your dad a hammer and a Snickers bar. He doesn't want that. He wants some cool Texans stuff for his garage. He wants some cool Texans gear. Get it for him now. For your father who's a Texans fan, I got you covered. Go to chatsports.com/TexansDad and get ahead of it, right? Go ahead and go get your dad, your father, something nice for your, Father's Day, because it is kind of the forgotten holiday, right? I bet right now you didn't even realize Father's Day was 2 weeks away. So go ahead, get ahead of it. Go get your dad some cool Texans gear. One more time, that link is chatsports.com/TexansDad. Get it for your father, your daddy in your life. Go ahead with our friends over at Fanatics and get them some cool gifts. Don't be the guy who gets them some last minute, wrench and nail set. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that. He wants some cool Texans gear. Get it for him right now at chatsports.com/TexansDad. That link will be in the comment section and description of today's video. Now, here's some more observations I had from OTAs. First up, Kamari Lassiter is him. He's a dog. He is, an amazing player, and I think one of the steals from the draft last year. Multiple times he was seen breaking up passes, and I know it was Davis Mills and some of the other guys around there, but, he was doing it up against Nico Collins, too, who is our wide receiver one, a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He was going step for step with them. Bar for bar, band for band. He was right there with them. This coming in from Jonathan Alexander saying, the next play, breaking down plays and during 7-on-7, Davis Mills tries to hit Nico Collins on a go route, but Kamari Lassiter had tight coverage, got a hand on it, was step for step with Nico Collins. This dude is set to be an absolute animal this year for the Houston Texans, and I am so pumped to see him out there opposite of Derek Stingley, because honestly, in my opinion, we have the best pass rush duo and the best corner duo in the NFL. Period. Kamari Lassiter, look at these numbers last year. This isn't including the playoffs where he got an interception as well. 58 tackles, 3 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, and he missed some time as well last year. So putting up those numbers, putting up those stats, and knowing that he has that swarm mentality, not afraid to tackle, is a thumper. I absolutely love Kamari Lassiter on the other side of Stingley. And if you're with me, if you think Lassiter is the best cornerback 2 in the entire NFL, because I've been seeing him getting a little bit disrespected in some rankings this offseason already in terms of cornerbacks, in terms of guys coming into year 2. I think he's the best CB2 in the entire NFL. If you agree with me, spam those 4s down in the comments section. I know Texans players watch these videos. If Kamari comes across this video, I want to see 4s just spammed in the comment section, because dude's an absolute menace. He's a problem, and I can't wait to see him play this year. Number 2, the new wide receiver room looks pretty solid. Saw a lot of clips from Jaden Higgins, from Jalen Noel, from Christian Kirk. Obviously, it's just them running routes on air. It's just them, it's not anything crazy. At the same time, I like the way this room is shaping up. I like the way this room is looking with those top 4 guys. Obviously, Watson wasn't at practice today, but it makes you think, who's that 5th? Is it Xavier Hutchinson? Is it John Mechie? Regardless of who the 5th and 6th guys are, I think we're in a really good spot. And it's funny to think, because last year we thought Texans have the best wide receiver room in the NFL going into last year, right? You had Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. I think this year's wide receiver room overall is better than last year's wide receiver room, which is a really good sign for CJ Stroud and this Texans offense. And my last observation, and maybe I'm cheating a little bit, maybe not a true observation, is Texans fans, me included, we are so freaking ready for football to be back. It's only May. We're 3 or 4 months away from real Texans football, and I am like Tyrone Biggums over here, just scratching my neck looking at these videos and photos from OTA practice. These dudes are wearing basketball shorts, freaking dancing on the sideline between drills, and I am just like, let's go! Let's go! I'm so pumped for Texans football, and I don't know about you. If you are ready for some Texans football, go down and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, at Jeremy Chuggs. for the latest Texans news and rumors all year long. You know I got you covered. It's only OTAs. We are literally scratching the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg. But, man, I am so ready for this Texans team to put in work in 2025. If you're just like that, if you're excited for some Texans football, well, hey, you made it to the end of the video. Go down and hit that subscribe button for Texans news and rumors content all year long.